Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reading Reddit with Amber. Today I have another batch of outrageous stories for you from r/Am I the Jerk. Thanks to the people who sent in suggestions for today's video. Our first story today is, Am I the jerk for telling my soon-to-be mother-in-law if she wants kids, she can adopt one? I'm a 25-year-old female, and I'm blind. The whole idea of having kids scares me, and I honestly don't want any, and my fiancé is also fine with this decision. Before Christmas, my fiancé and I went to see his mother, and aside from my parents, they are the only people we visit in person. While we were there, the subject of children came up, which is usual for his mom. She actually nags us about having kids quite a bit, especially after we got engaged. We were talking and she asked me when I was going to give her a baby. I told her I didn't know because I don't want kids. Just like everyone else I've told this to, she tells me I don't mean that, then says I have to give her a grandbaby. This of course made my blood boil, and I plainly told her that if she wanted a baby so badly, she could adopt one. Then my fiancé spoke up and told her that would probably be more willing to have kids if people didn't nag us about it. Then I asked her if I had Baby Farm tattooed on my forehead. She says yes because I'm a woman and that's what I'm supposed to do. She doesn't care that I'm blind and having a child would be a struggle for me. She just wants me to pump her out a grandchild. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. Even if OP didn't have a disability, she would still be well within her rights not to have a child. Parenting isn't for everyone, and that doesn't make OP any less valuable as a woman, regardless of what antiquated nonsense mother-in-law spouts. OP's fiancé needs to step up here and shut his mom down so OP doesn't keep getting badgered with this nonsense. Our next story is, Am I the jerk for walking out of my cousin's wedding? So I'm a 23-year-old female, and I have chronic urinary tract infections, UTIs. This situation happened last year, but it's still an issue, so I wanted some outside opinions. My cousin, a 28-year-old female, got married last February. I was one of 6 bridesmaids. I woke up the morning of and felt the telltale signs of a UTI, so I chugged a few bottles of cranberry juice, took some antibiotics and painkillers, and tried to go on with the day. As we were getting ready, I mentioned it to the bride and we had a quick laugh about my bad luck. Previously, the bride told us that the ceremony would only be about 45 minutes, so I stopped drinking my cranberry juice an hour before the ceremony was scheduled to begin. I anticipated it being an uncomfortable 45-minute ceremony, but I could get through it. Everyone sat down in the church, we lined up at the altar, and unfortunately, the bride had cold feet and the wedding ended up being delayed by 2 hours. I kept trying to subtly step out to pee, but the maid of honor insisted that the bride was coming right now and I couldn't go anywhere. Finally, she walks down the aisle and I'm practically dying at this point. I made it another 20 minutes before realizing I had 2 choices: step out and run to the bathroom or pee myself in front of my entire family. So yes, I chose to step out. I waited by the side doors until the bride and groom walked back down the aisle and quickly hopped back in line with my groomsmen. Later at the reception, I briefly explained myself and apologized to her and the other bridesmaids. Everyone seemed to think it was funny and we laughed it off. 2 weeks later, I get a call from the bride and she's furious at me for, quote, ruining her wedding to get attention. My own mother, as well as most of the family, is siding with her. I feel horrible, of course, but what other option did I have? Am I the jerk for walking out of my cousin's wedding? Edit, thank you everyone for the support. UTIs absolutely suck. I'm in contact with a urologist and I'm really going to push her to help me find some long-term solutions because she's definitely been blowing me off. Also, I think the real issue here is that my family doesn't take my health issues seriously. I'm planning on bringing my mom to my next appointment and hopefully hearing about how serious this is from an actual doctor will help her realize that I'm not just being dramatic. Finally, my cousin is already discussing separation from her husband, and she made it clear that if she ever gets married again, I won't be in the wedding, which is fine with me. Not the jerk. It's fine to want a nice wedding, but if you shame people for having to step out to deal with medical issues, then you're a jerk. It's not OP's fault that the bride showed up 2 hours late, or that she was barred from using the bathroom sooner because the maid of honor kept insisting that the bride was almost ready. People cannot make their health issues magically vanish just so someone else can have an interruption-free wedding. Also, if any of you are in OP's boat and are having constant UTIs, make sure you're getting to a doctor and confirming that it is in fact a UTI each time. There's another medical condition called interstitial cystitis, which has similar symptoms, but can actually be made worse by chugging all that cranberry juice. I know it's a pain to go to the doctor when UTIs can be cleared up sometimes without one, but if it's not a UTI, you could end up doing permanent damage to your bladder by using UTI remedies. Our final story today is, am I the jerk for yelling at my mom that she is obsessed about my boobs? I, 22-year-old female, have always been, well, blessed in the chest department. It's something I used to be super self-conscious about since my mother makes a big deal over it. I'm the only daughter in a family of 4 kids, so my mom was overjoyed that she finally had a girl, which means she is always hyper-focused on me and my body, especially my boobs. Imagine being 10 and listening to your mom argue loudly with the sales lady at the store that I could absolutely not be wearing a bra because I was too young, even though none of the training bras fit me, even at that young an age. Spoiler, we ended up having to get me an actual bra. I mean, I could constantly list the things she does/says in regards to my chest, from telling me I shouldn't be showing off so much cleavage in front of my brothers, to that I shouldn't wear tops that are too revealing because creepy old men will look at them. The problem is that everything is too revealing. I could be wearing a normal t-shirt and it would be too revealing because it would be a little stretched out and tight on my chest area. I felt so self-conscious, I basically wore giant hoodies most of my teen years so she wouldn't comment. Well, fast forward to now and I've begun to appreciate my body for what it is. I like my boobs the way they are. Yeah, I might not be able to fit into some clothing types, and yeah, I might accidentally, or purposely on occasion, be showing cleavage, but that's my right. And being away from my mom at college for the last few years was super helpful to get the negativity away, but being back home for my last semester has been rough. Especially after my mom and dad gave me a graduation gift of $5,000, which my dad suggested I put toward a car, and my mom suggested I put toward breast reduction. I was stunned, and frankly so was my dad. She got super defensive and launched into a rant about how I need to do this so I won't look like a tramp all the time, and I'll never find a good man if all they're interested in are my boobs. I was furious and let all of the pent-up rage from the last 10 years out on her, and told her she needed to stop being so obsessed with my boobs, and I'm going to do with them what I want, even if I look like a tramp. She broke down crying and left the house and hasn't been back in hours. My dad agrees that what she says was uncalled for, but that my response was equally uncalled for, and now I feel incredibly guilty. Am I the jerk for yelling at her about her comments over my boobs? Not the jerk. That was way out of line for the mom to suggest breast reduction surgery, and that's just the latest in a long line of attacks. Parents should not make their children feel ashamed of their bodies. That was a completely inappropriate suggestion, and Opie has every right to feel hurt and upset, especially since this behavior has been building for many years, her entire life. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like or letting me know in the comments. I post new videos twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I'm a guest over on Brian's Advice on Thursdays. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.